at the beginning of the war, Russia had 12 billion euros of energy or of revenues from fossil fuels from Europe per month, 12 billion. And now we're down to 1.8 billion, still too much. So we are phasing out Russian fossil fuels. The proposal is on the table from the Commission. But this shows how much, only if you look only at the European or the revenues from Europe to Russia, how much these different measures have already had an impact on reducing the revenues of Russia.
Yes, and to add to that, it is accumulating as well. I think we were also surprised that the last sanctions package on the shadow fleet had such a big effect that it was really reducing the revenues from oil exports from or via the Black Sea and Baltic Sea by 30%. After our last sanctions package, the 17th sanctions package, the oil exports from Russia via the Black Sea and Baltic Sea routes declined by 30% in a week. Only in the month of May, Russia's sovereign wealth fund declined by 6 billion from 42 billion to 36 billion US dollars. And it could run out of money by next year.
Strength is the only language that Russia will understand. The Russian economy is deeply affected by the sanctions. 210 billion euros of reserves of the Central Bank of Russia are immobilized. Russia's oil and gas revenues have fallen by almost 80% compared to before the war. Its deficit is skyrocketing. Interest rates are prohibitively high. Inflation is on the rise, well above 10%. The price of importing technologies and critical goods is six times higher than before the war and compared to global average prices. In short, Russia's economy is limited to a war economy and sacrificing future prospects. Our message is very clear. This war must end. We need a real ceasefire. And Russia has to come to the negotiating table with a serious proposal. As it is up to today not showing willingness to achieve peace, we will step up pressure on Russia, including through further robust sanctions.
The next round of EU sanctions against Russia will target Russia's energy revenues, including the shadow fleet, its military industry and its banking sector. On energy, like it was said, we propose adding another 77 vessels transporting Russian oil to the list, which would bring the total to over 400. When sanctioned, Russia's shadow fleet tankers cannot dock in ports, and Russia has to find new vessels. This costs them more and runs down their profits. As President von der Leyen said, we are also proposing to lower the oil price cap from 60 to 45, which is lower than the market price. And lowering the oil price cap will hit Russia's revenues hard. And we propose sanctions on the Nord Stream pipelines to prevent Russia generating any revenue in the future in this way. It sends a clear signal we are not going back to business as usual. On the banking sector, we are turning the ban on SWIFT messaging services into full transaction ban. We propose 22 new banks to the list of institutions blocked from these transactions. And on military industry, they would not be able to do what they're doing without the support of others, like it was said. So we are going after the companies who are directly involved in producing weapons or enabling production, including in third countries. Today, we suggest adding 22 new companies, including some from China and Belarus, to the list of entities facing stricter restrictions on the dual-use goods. And this brings the total number of targeted companies to over 800. We do all this because sanctions work. Every sanction weakens Russia's ability to fight. So Russia wants us to believe that they can continue this war forever. This is not simply true. Russia has lost tens of billions in oil revenues, its economy is shrinking, and its GDP has dropped.
We want to make sure that Russia does not find ways to modernize its weapons with European technologies. Fourth and final, we want our sanctions better applied and respected. That is why we widen the scope of the transaction ban that already exists. And we list 22 Russian and foreign companies providing direct or indirect support to Russia's military and industrial complex. Putin's ability to sustain the war very much depends on the support he receives from third countries. Those who support Russia's war and the efforts of conquering Ukraine carry a heavy responsibility. With this package, we step up pressure on Russia. Our objective is very clear. We are reiterating the call for a full, unconditional ceasefire of at least 30 days.